Who do you think you are? Have you ever asked that question? Or have you had someone ask you that question before? Because we all know what that question means. It means someone is being perceived as being pretentious or presumptuous or acting, behaving, or even speaking outside their lane. And it's a question that is calculated to make someone reflect on themselves, calculated to have them turn their perceptions inward and to see themselves as they are being seen by others. We live in a world, and especially it seems during this time of crisis, when it's far too easy to criticize. It's easy because we can do it anonymously or at least removed from the target. It's easy to be a keyboard warrior and to air all our grievances with everyone through digital media, social media. And people are very quick and willing and able to take anyone to task for anything when they don't approve of their style or their method or their philosophy. There's a great line uttered by the villain in the movie A Few Good Men. Jack Nicholson plays an Army colonel, a military base commander, who is being grilled in a murder trial by a JAG attorney played by Tom Cruise. When questioned by the attorney regarding the way he runs his base, the colonel says, "I have neither the time or the inclination to explain myself to a man who rises and sleeps under the blanket of the very freedom that I provide, and then question the manner in which I provide it." The worst sort of criticism is criticism that questions or challenges the way someone is doing something that the grumbler is not doing or that they are not even responsible for doing. And with that in mind, I want to share three things from Scripture about criticism that we all need to keep in mind. And the first is this: criticism corrupts. Paul says that talk that does not build people up is corrupt. In Ephesians 4:29, Paul writes, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." According to Paul, criticism corrupts because it is not beneficial, it is not fitting, and it is not graceful. Secondly, criticism brings judgment. Criticism endangers the critic more than it damages the criticized. James 5:9 says, "Do not grumble against one another, brothers, so that you may not be judged. Behold, the judge is standing at the door." God is always close by. God is always listening, and he knows our hearts. And he is pictured here as ready to come in to your life and judge you for your grumbling. Thirdly, criticism is just not a good example. It's not a good look for the child of God. It is impossible to let your light shine in this world and be a complainer, according to Philippians 2, verses 14 and 15. Do all things, it says, without grumbling or questioning, that you may be blameless and innocent, children of God without blemish, in the midst of a crooked and twisted generation, among whom you shine as lights in the world. Do you want to be blameless? Do you want to be innocent? Do you want to be without blemish? Do you want to be a light in a dark place? Stop complaining. Romans has a great deal to say about our interaction with others, even when we disagree. Three chapters really stand out in addressing these things: Romans chapter 12, chapter 14, and chapter 15. And we don't have time to read all of that. I hope that you will in your own time. But allow me to just pull a few of the thoughts from these three chapters. In Romans chapter 12, we are instructed, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought. We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be conceited. As far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. In Romans 14, we read, "Who are you to judge someone else's servant? None of us lives for ourselves alone. Each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. Therefore, let us stop passing judgment on one another and make every effort to do what leads to peace and to mutual edification." These thoughts continue in Romans 15. Bear with the failings of others. Please your neighbors for their good, to build them up. Accept one another, just as Christ accepted you, in order to bring praise to God. In my experience, criticism doesn't usually have anything to do with someone being wrong or immoral or misguided. It usually has more to do with the preferences of the complainer, the viewpoint of the complainer, the opinion of the complainer. It is rarely about the target of the complaint actually messing up. But so what if they have? People don't need to hear how they've messed up. They know how they've messed up. What they need to hear from you is how you've messed up, and that they are not alone when it comes to messing up. Stop giving people a piece of your mind and give them a piece of your heart. God bless you.